A theme park in the UK is sadly closing forever. An attraction owned by Merlin Entertainments, who also own Alton Towers and Thorpe Park, is closing too. And a big event was supposed to happen at Thorpe Park recently, but it seemed to not have happened. But why did it not? I'll be discussing that and more, because all that has happened this past week in theme parks. Yes, welcome back to the best and most inconsistent series on YouTube. Obviously, if you aren't aware, there's been a lot of Planet Coaster 2 content recently, but that will be slowing down slightly now. So expect there to be this past week in theme parks episodes if things happen every week going forward. I mean, the series name speaks for itself. It should have been weekly anyway. Regardless of that, there is so much to talk about today, and I probably should just get into it, shouldn't I? Although, just a reminder, if you do go on to enjoy this video, please be sure to subscribe to the channel. It would mean the world to me. So then, what has happened the last 7 days within the theme park industry? Well, you have some smaller things that have happened, maybe a little bit longer than a week ago, but I'm gonna count it because I didn't do one a week ago. Universal's Epic Universe continues to show how good it's going to be with the brand new animatronics being shown for Dark Universe. And these things look so scary and lifelike. It is pretty crazy. Staying in the States, there is also a roller coaster at King's Dominion, Project 305, or Intimidator 305 as it used to be known as, that has been rethemed to Pantherian. Hyperia. I mean, the theme looks cool and the sort of colour scheme and everything, but I don't really understand the name. Okay. And alongside that, one of the biggest pieces of news in our country, the UK, is the fact that last week, Alton Towers closed Rita for maintenance. I am not going back to that scheduled maintenance page. I bloody hate it. But yes, Rita was closed for a few days and it was supposed to open on the 30th of October, and I'm pretty sure it was late by like 1 day. And I think that is huge news because I was really hoping that they'd actually close it for good. But I guess much like the Retro Squad, they need it for capacity. So Rita stays for another period of time. Hopefully not too long. Get those excavators out, I'm starting work on it. And whilst we're talking about them, Alton Towers does have a very, very world-renowned event coming up this weekend. The Fireworks Spectacular, and if you haven't seen from my previous Alton Towers video, which feels like so long ago, it is all going to be based around the phalanx, and we have a little look of what that theme is going to be on these flags here, but I'm going to leave that for a separate video because I feel like something might be happening at Alton Towers. Something else is happening at another theme park in the UK, Paultons Park, to do with their Viking themed area, and of course they started work on that side via Cobra, you know, that area there. There's since been announcements that Cobra will be closing for the 2025 season, so it'll be completely unoperational. SBNO. For that time, whilst they build this new Viking area, and it's going to be a pretty big land. I don't know whether Cobra will be included in the land and they'll sort of retheme that, but considering it's just closing for that year, I think it's just going to be a sort of, oh, we need to move some stuff from near there and we don't really want to keep it open whilst we do that and build this brand new roller coaster. So I think Cobra will stay. I don't know if the theme will stay. I mean, what theme? But it is interesting to see work going on there. And talking of work somewhere else in the UK, Thorpe Park should have had a beach party on the last day of the season. Because, you know, outside their new scare maze for Fright Nights, there was Last Amity Beach Party. Posters up everywhere and it was saying 8:25 PM and, you know, everyone was like, Sunday the 3rd of November, there's going to be a party. What is happening on the beach? I mean, some people reached so far and thought that they were going to put a Max spinning coaster there. Oh, that was me. And there was a lot of speculation about what could be going on that site. Well, the 3rd of November came around and, yeah, nothing actually happened at the beach. There was no party, there was no send-off, there was no dramatic explosion. But instead, a lot of people realised, and I don't really know where they realised it from because it seems like it was just some sudden realisation out of nowhere, that the sign actually says 8:25 PM, which if you put that in 24-hour clock, is 2025. That could mean something new is going to replace it next year, or maybe next year is the year it's going to close. And as much as speculating is really fun, we didn't have to do any of that because since this video and when I filmed it, we now know what's going on the beach. They're going to be building a brand new hub area with a stage and a few buildings and loads of seating and stuff, so it's basically going to act as this main central area that will not only be good for just general season events, but also will probably make a very good scare zone for Fright Nights. There's been one or two other things speculated about the park as well, but I will go into them in a separate video too. But the main thing you need to know is the beach is getting replaced by the hub. So no beach party at Thorpe Park, and no party at another Merlin attraction because it is closing.
As you may or may not be aware,
Merlin Attraction
is
and the reason I say Merlin Attraction isn't because, I don't know, oh, Alton Towers has a spa. No, it doesn't. Chessington has a zoo. That's not a theme park, so it must be an attraction. Although, maybe the Chessington Zoo will close at some point. The attraction that I'm on about is one of those like your Madame Tussauds or your Sea Lifes, but it's a lot bigger than those. They are in fact going to be closing forever the Bear Grylls Adventure. Now, I never went, but I know from mixed reviews that some people had an amazing time and were doing all these activities, and then some people went and it was trash. But yes, Merlin did send out emails and also a confirmation from the account itself saying that it would be closing from the 6th of December, I believe. Now, the worst part about that is, of course, the fact that loads of people are just going to lose their jobs from the fact that they don't want to run it anymore, which is really sad. And I'm sure so many people there had so many nice memories and stuff, so it is a shame to see it go. But it does speak a lot about Merlin, you know. Is this a budget cut, like we've seen many a time over their other attractions? Is it because the attraction just wasn't doing very well anymore? Is it because of something they changed within it? Or will this happen to other Merlin attractions? Who knows? It's not one of those things where we can predict what's going to go in its place or whether there's going to be a new roller coaster in its place, but it is interesting to talk about nonetheless. As is the announcement of a theme park, not owned by Merlin this time, but that's in the UK, that has already closed forever. And when I say it's already closed, it's because they announced it, and as soon as they announced it, they shut the doors. Like, there was no, come on this date and you'll still be fine to go, or maybe like go up until this time. No, shut it on the dot. And this one is really sad to see. This theme park opened 48 years ago, so it's been going for a very long time. And literally, I think last year or earlier this year, they announced that they were closing loads of their main attractions, so I guess we should have sort of seen this coming. But have you ever heard of them? Flambards Theme Park in Helston has announced that they are closing, and technically now they are closed. On their socials, they basically said that they wanted to thank all of the visitors and staff for like all the support along the way, and it seems like the managers and stuff do realise how much of a loss this is going to be to that area and for the people that did work there. But it is sadly clear that the reason they're shutting is because of these rising costs and the fact that they just can't run the theme park anymore, and it's not making enough money to run it feasibly. And yeah, it is really sad because, again, like I said, those coasters and rides did close earlier in the year, and we should have probably thought then like, oh, well, this isn't a good sign, is it? They were obviously trying to save money back then and sell them off or do something with them, but yeah, now it's just sort of dead in the water. Although, if you are local, Ferdy's Funland that's apparently there, the indoor play centre will be reopening in late November to stay as part of Flambards, well, as its own attraction. Flambards lives on in a way. But either way, what are your thoughts on Flambards closing and everything else I've talked about, because there's been so much? Leave them down below in the comments and make sure you subscribe to the channel. Very much thanks for watching.